Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. The attack on Chinese infrastructure in Pakistan continues. Earlier this evening, multiple blasts were reported at Pakistan's Gwadar Port Authority complex. And following the explosion, unidentified gunmen stormed the complex and opened fire. And according to Pakistan media reports, 7 attackers were gunned down in retaliatory firing by the security personnel. Right now, a large contingent of Pakistan forces is present at the complex. No casualties have been reported so far. The Majid Brigade of the Balochistan Liberation Army, the BLA, has claimed responsibility for the attack. But here's why this is big. Gwadar is located near the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial oil shipping route in the Arabian Sea. This deep water port in Pakistan is also a key element of the $60 billion so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, also known as the CPEC, a cornerstone of China's wide-reaching Belt and Road Initiative, which focuses on linking China's Xinjiang province with Pakistan's Gwadar port. But this is not the first time a Chinese project has come under attack in Balochistan. In fact, in August last year, a convoy of Chinese engineers working in Gwadar were attacked by the Balochistan Liberation Army, or the BLA. And there's more. In April 2022, a terror attack against a shuttle bus used by Karachi's Confucius Institute killed 3 Chinese teachers and their local driver. The attack was claimed by the Baloch Liberation Army. In August 2021, 2 children were killed, 3 wounded in an attack targeting Chinese nationals in Gwadar. And a month before that, in July 2021, a shuttle bus blast killed 9 Chinese and 4 Pakistanis. A few months before that, in April, a deadly car bomb explosion at a hotel hosting the Chinese ambassador in Quetta killed 5 people. That attack was claimed by the Pakistan Taliban. In 2018, the BLA attacked Chinese Consulate General in Karachi, killing 2 police officers. And in May 2017, 10 workers were killed by the BLA gunmen in response to the CPEC development. Do you see a pattern here? Because you are not wrong. Armed Baloch groups have repeatedly targeted Chinese projects. And now you may be wondering, what is their problem with the Chinese? You see, there is a reason why Chinese projects are increasingly becoming a target in Balochistan. Balochistan is a resource and mineral-rich region of Pakistan. And where there is money to be made, the Chinese are present. Beijing, in fact, has invested heavily under its Belt and Road Initiative in Balochistan. This investment includes the development of Gwadar, but the situation has not been all roses. Chinese investment sparked tensions on the ground. It has fueled the decades-long separatist insurgency in the region, and as a result, the armed Baloch groups have attacked Chinese projects and workers. They say they oppose China's exploitation of the mineral-rich region. They say Chinese investment robs them of the resources of their own land. They say they do not benefit from Chinese investment. And so they attack CPEC-linked projects. Sure, in the past, Baloch separatists have exaggerated their success in these attacks, but Pakistan authorities as well have severely downplayed these attacks or delayed reporting them. The Pakistan government, in fact, has deployed thousands of security personnel in order to counter threats against Chinese interests, but that has not stopped the attacks. Chinese companies operating in Gwadar as well as other parts of Balochistan continue to be targeted. Despite Pakistan's efforts to boost security, the situation remains complex. Therefore, no matter how much China invests in transport, energy, infrastructure projects, instability, tensions over resource distribution persist. Anas Malik, our Pakistan bureau chief, has been tracking these developments closely, is joining us on the broadcast this minute. Anas, let me begin by asking you to tell us more about what really is happening on the ground. Bring us up to speed with the latest.
Well, the latest situation is that the attack is over. The situation is considerably under control. The combing operation has been completed as well. What we know is that at least 8 terrorists belonging to the Baloch terror organization, the Baloch Liberation Army, have been neutralized. They tried to enter the premises of the Gwadar Port Authority, trying to attack the security forces and its related institutions. But they weren't allowed to go beyond the first checkpost. They tried to ram in their vehicle full of laden of explosives, but they couldn't detonate it. And as a result of the timely action by the Pakistani security forces, at least 8 terrorists who were involved in the attack have been neutralized.
Right, Anas, let's also talk about the overall security situation. This attack coming on the heels of the recently concluded election as well, also in the middle of the extremely grim economic situation. What do you make of all of this?
Well, the attack lasted for about 40 minutes and we've previously seen such attacks have been happening. They have been targeted precisely on foreign nationals, precisely Chinese engineers and their related work. And then off late, we've seen that security forces convoy have been attacked precisely in the area and in the vicinity of Gwadar city and Gwadar district by and large. So this attack particularly was directed at the security forces and its installation. It was not to do with any port-related infrastructure, which the Pakistani authorities say. But that being said, it raises alarm bells.
Thanks very much for the moment, Anas, for those updates. And of course, we are going back to Anas Malik, who is on the ground tracking those developments very closely for us. The Sharifs are back in power in Pakistan, and while they set about trying to save a crumbling country, there is sudden talk that a pet project of Nawaz Sharif, that is the restoration of the ancestral home of legendary actor Dilip Kumar in Pakistan's Peshawar, might finally get the money for its restoration and conversion into a museum. Nearly 4 years ago, Pakistan had made a promise to the world. It said that it would be turning the house of the legendary actor into a museum. So what happened, and why is the building still in tatters? Quick background first. Dilip Kumar was born as Muhammad Yusuf Khan. The year was 1922. The place of birth, Peshawar, in the northwest frontier of the Indian subcontinent. Back then, it was still United India. The neighborhood in which Kumar was born was also legendary. The Kissa Khwani Bazaar, the market of storytellers. Travelers from Central Asia would stop here, find shelter, and tell tales of caravans and great cities to the locals. Dilip Kumar's father was a fruit merchant. He had 12 children. Fate had interesting plans for Dilip Kumar. His family moved to Bombay in the year 1932. Dilip Kumar was all of 8. He was 23 when India was partitioned and Pakistan was born. By then, Dilip Kumar had become an actor in Bollywood, the great film industry in Bombay. He had made his debut with the film Jwar Bhatta in 1944. In the years to come, the boy from the gate of storytellers would go on to narrate stories that would be remembered for generations to come. But what about the old house in Kissa Khwani Bazaar? What happened to it? Dilip Kumar's family sold the house before moving to India. It changed several hands over the years. At one point, in fact, the house was being used as a warehouse. One owner wanted to tear down the house and build a commercial plaza. The plan was nixed by protests and calls to preserve the childhood home of the legendary actor. The government of Pakistan stepped in. In 2014, then Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif designated the house as a national heritage monument. In the year 2020, the government of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa imposed Section 4 with regard to the property, which basically means it banned the sale of the four-story house. 80 lakh Pakistani rupees was budgeted for acquiring the house. The authorities said the house would be taken under the possession of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Directorate of Archaeology and Museums. It would first be restored, then turned into a museum, one that would house Dilip Kumar's life, his film records, photographs, and stories of his long association with Peshawar. And finally, the property will be open to the public. Now, this was the plan under the PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf regime. Cut to present, the house is now over 100 years old. It is crumbling. Reports say recent rainfall damaged the house. What are the authorities doing is the question. They are still stuck in the planning process. And what's taking so long? The lack of funds, we are being told. Is it really about the lack of funds or the lack of intent? This house in Peshawar held immense emotional value for Dilip Kumar. In 1988, the actor visited his childhood home. He fell to his feet, kissed the soil and the floor of his childhood home. Dilip Kumar died in 2021. Now, not too long before that, one Pakistani journalist posted 4 photos of Dilip Kumar's house. The legendary actor, who was then mostly bedridden, got emotional. "Thank you for sharing this," he said, adding, "Requesting all in Peshawar to share photos of my ancestral house if you have clicked the pic." Kumar's longing for the Peshawar house was evident. His wife, Saira Bano, had once said, and I'm quoting here, "The house is in Peshawar, which now is in Pakistan, is only a fond memory of his early childhood. Dilip Sahib is the pride of India, and I call him my Kohinoor," quote unquote. Kumar was called the tragedy king of Bollywood. Pakistan's new government is talking again, but will it actually do anything is the question. Will it stop the house from meeting a tragic fate? In 1998, Pakistan conferred Dilip Kumar with the highest civilian award, the Nishan-e-Imtiyaz. But what about preserving the actor's memory? Not too far from Dilip Kumar's Haveli stands another grand old house, the childhood home of another legendary Bollywood actor, Raj Kapoor. He was Dilip Kumar's contemporary and friend. The two grew up as neighbors in Peshawar before moving to the city of dreams in India. Raj Kapoor's childhood home also has met the same fate. It was declared a national heritage site, then taken under the possession of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Directorate of Archaeology and Museums. This house also was supposed to be converted into a museum, but that never happened. This house, known as the Kapoor Haveli, was built between 1918 and 1922 by Raj Kapoor's grandfather, Diwan Basheshwar Nath Kapoor. When WION visited this house over 3 years ago, we found the front door closed. The team had to climb up a rare entrance. Waiting for them was a dilapidated, partly demolished and completely abandoned property. Some of the neighbors said the administration is doing very little to preserve the house. In 2018, when Imran Khan came to power, he vowed to restore heritage sites and revive Pakistan's tourism. But government after government has failed to deliver on the promises. They have failed to protect these Havelis from natural disasters. All they have delivered is lip service.
3.5 years since the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government said that it would be preserving the properties of Dilip Kumar and the Kapoor house in Peshawar's Qissa Khwani Bazaar, but the action on that is yet to be done. Despite of the fact that the government has issued and bought these properties, they are yet to be converted into museums. Officials say that in the upcoming budget, amount will be allocated to the archaeology department to preserve these two properties and convert them into a museum. Anas Malik in Islamabad, Pakistan for WION World is One.
Both the properties, the houses of Dilip Kumar and Raj Kapoor, are in crumbling state. These are national assets waiting to collapse. God forbid, if they do fall, the fault will be Pakistan's. On to India now. The world's most populous democracy is set to hold its next general election over a 7-phase period. The stakes are high. Parties are in full campaign mode. Political campaigning in full swing. Speculation over who will actually end up getting the tickets to contest the polls is rife. Which brings me to the topic of interest today. What will be the fate of the Gandhis in the ruling party BJP? To be specific, will Maneka Gandhi and Varun Gandhi get tickets? In the state of UP, Prime Minister Modi-led Bharatiya Janata Party is gearing up to announce candidates for 25 out of the 80 seats. On Monday evening, a meeting was held at the BJP headquarters in New Delhi to basically deliberate on the announcement of candidates for the remaining seats in the state. Just to be clear, one list of candidates is already out, and now reports say that the second list will see the BJP field new candidates altogether. Among these seats, Pilibhit and Sultanpur Lok Sabha constituencies were also discussed. Both former Union Minister Maneka Gandhi and her son Varun Gandhi, who are BJP MPs from these constituencies, were subjects of discussion. But it seems that the party is not sure on who to field among the two. Deliberations were reportedly held on whether to field Maneka Gandhi or her son Varun Gandhi as candidates for the upcoming elections. And here's where it gets even more interesting. You see, the BJP reportedly only wants to field one of them as their candidate in this crucial battleground state. While the BJP is considering fielding Maneka from Sultanpur, deliberations are ongoing for Varun Gandhi's replacement in Pilibhit with Jitin Prasad or the Union Minister B.L. Verma. But Maneka Gandhi wants her son to be on the ticket list as well. So what's the hold-up all about? There has been a lot of speculation about why Varun Gandhi's name was missing from the BJP's first list. Now, in recent years, he has openly criticized the BJP and the BJP-led government in Uttar Pradesh on various issues, including agrarian issues. Despite winning the last 2 Lok Sabha polls from his constituency, Varun Gandhi is known to operate independently and maintain a distance from the BJP's local party unit. Reports suggest that he believes he does not need party support. During the state polls in 2022, Varun Gandhi opposed the party's candidates, ignoring the party line. Did these incidents anger the party and lead to his exclusion from the first list? It's too soon to say that. Maybe his name will figure in the second list along with his mother. But that is not where the story ends. It has been suggested that in case Varun Gandhi is not given a ticket by the BJP, he may consider joining the rival party, Samajwadi Party. And they may even accept him. It's worth noting that the Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav has not yet announced the candidate for Pilibhit, along with Moradabad and Rampur. And according to reports, the Samajwadi Party leadership is waiting for the BJP to make its move as far as Pilibhit is concerned. That's Varun Gandhi's constituency. There have also been reports that if denied a ticket by the BJP, Varun Gandhi might contest from Amethi as an independent candidate, supported by both the SP and the Congress. However, he recently ruled out this possibility while speaking to the media. What should you make of Navjot Singh Sidhu's return to the commentary box? Now, for those watching the show from India, there is no way you are not familiar with this face. In fact, in the last few decades, Navjot Singh Sidhu has been spotted everywhere, from the cricket field, cricket commentary boxes, to hobnobbing with Bollywood A-listers on TV screens, as he laughed, or at least pretended to laugh, his heart out at a comedy show. Navjot Singh Sidhu has also been seen at election rallies inside the parliament, also seen serving a jail term. But life appears to have come a full circle for Sidhu. He is returning to cricket, not the pitch, but the commentary box. The announcement was made by Star Sports, the official TV broadcaster of the IPL. Here's the post on the platform X. Why don't I read it out for you? I'm quoting, "A wise man once said, 'Hope is the biggest hope.' And this wise man, the great Sherry on top himself, has joined our incredible star cast. Don't miss his incredible commentary and Gajab one-liners," quote unquote. Sidhu will be on the mic during the season's opening match. Many are calling it a grand return. There are others questioning the timing of it all, though. Let me explain this. You see, the Indian Premier League runs parallel to the Lok Sabha elections. The Cricket League begins this Friday. That is the 22nd of March. The final match will be played on the 26th of May. That covers most of the election season. And last we checked, Navjot Singh Sidhu was still a politician. He was still a member of the Indian National Congress and the former Punjab Congress chief. What explains his IPL contract in the middle of the election season? Voting in Punjab will take place on the 1st of June. Sidhu will be occupied at the commentary box till the penultimate moment. How will he be a part of the Congress's rallies if he is spending time in the commentary box? How will Sidhu use his flair for words to help his party win seats if he is busy entertaining the IPL audience with his witty one-liners? Unless this is all by design. Speaking to the media, Navjot Singh Sidhu said, and I'm quoting, "Boss, cricket is my first love. If your hobby becomes your profession, there is nothing better than that. A duckling would never forget how to swim. I will take to commentary like a fish takes to water." That's what he said. What about the Congress? Is Sidhu leaving it out to dry? "Secret of my life," the 60-year-old said, and I'm quoting again, "is that I switch on, switch off. It was difficult for me to switch off from politics. But then the age of miracles has not passed," quote unquote. What should you make of that? Navjot Singh Sidhu began his first-class cricket career at the age of 18. He was India's opening batsman against West Indies in the Ahmedabad Test in 1983. He did not play too well in this match or the next, so he was dropped. But Sidhu worked hard on his form. He was picked for the 1987 World Cup squad. Sidhu announced his retirement in 1998 and soon he entered the commentary box. Navjot Singh Sidhu's one-liners, or Sidhuisms as they were called, won the hearts of cricket lovers around the world. Sidhu ended up joining politics in 2004. It was the Bharatiya Janata Party he joined first. In fact, he served as an MP 3 times. In 2017, Sidhu switched to the Congress party. He contested the assembly elections in Punjab. Sidhu won and was sworn in as a cabinet minister. He quit his position as a minister in 2019 following a controversial visit to Pakistan. Sidhu then went on to lead a rebellion against the former chief minister, Captain Amrinder Singh, remember. The latter was replaced. He quit the party. The Congress lost the 2022 assembly elections. Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party swept the seats, winning 92 seats in the 117-member House. Cut to present. The Lok Sabha elections have just been announced, and here you have Navjot Singh Sidhu returning to the commentary box after a 10-year-long pause. What was the hurry? Or is there a big message here? Has Navjot Singh Sidhu dumped the Congress, or was he hoping for a ticket and is rebelling after failing to secure one? The Congress is yet to declare its candidates for Punjab. Sidhu has rarely been seen in any of the Congress's recent programs in Punjab, but we are being told he remains close to the Gandhis. And reports also say Sidhu was expected to be one of the star campaigners of the Congress. So what exactly happened there? Our next story is from Hong Kong, where lawmakers have passed a new national security law aligning Hong Kong more closely with mainland China. The law aims to give the government sweeping powers to quash dissent and comes on top of a similar security law China imposed in 2020, which has largely silenced opposition voices in the financial hub. We will tell you more about this in our next report.
On March 19th, Hong Kong passed its second national security bill, spelling concerns for the city-state. The legislation, known as Article 23, introduces 39 new national security crimes, which include treason, sabotage, sedition, the theft of state secrets, external interference and espionage, with the most serious offences punishable by up to life imprisonment. The sentences range from several years to life imprisonment. The 90-seat council stacked with pro-China loyalists was first presented with the bill on March 8th, following an appeal by Hong Kong leader John Lee to push the law at full speed. 88 politicians and the council's president voted unanimously to enact the legislation. The new law will come into effect on Saturday. Hong Kong's new law comes 4 years after China passed an even more powerful national security law that was directly imposed by Beijing on Hong Kong in 2020. After huge pro-democracy protests the year before, since the law was passed, 290 people have been arrested for alleged national security offences. Among them, 174 persons and 5 companies were charged, including media tycoon and pro-democracy advocate Jimmy Lai. Critics worry the new law will further erode Hong Kong's civil liberties that Beijing promised to preserve for 50 years when the former British colony returned to Chinese rule in 1997. This includes giving Hong Kong self-governing power, election rights, its own currency and a largely independent legal system. The passage of the new bill has irked many countries, including the United States, who are analyzing the potential risks to its citizens and American interests in the region.
We're alarmed by the sweeping and what we interpret as vaguely defined provisions laid out in their Article 23 legislation. They use phrases such as external interference, which is incredibly vague. So we're analyzing this legislation and we are taking a look at what the potential risk could be to not just U.S. citizens, but other American interests that we might have.
British Foreign Secretary David Cameron said that the law will damage the rights and freedoms of Hong Kong people, provoking a sharp retort from the Chinese embassy in Britain, which said that Hong Kong affairs are purely China's internal affairs. The European Union and the United Nations said Hong Kong's new national security bill was deeply worrying and could erode fundamental freedoms in the China-ruled city.
I think passing the law marks a clear shift in Hong Kong. It's a pretty complete rejection of the sort of liberal Western tradition under which Hong Kong was run during colonial rule in the first 20 or so years after the handover. Now it's clearly going to be run in a very different way with very different expectations of how people can behave and what they can say and to a great extent what they can now think.
In the wake of criticism, China said it firmly opposed countries and institutions that slander and smear Hong Kong's new national security law.
China expresses strong dissatisfaction and firm opposition to some countries and institutions that slander and smear the legislation of national security law.
With Hong Kong's new national security law coming into effect on March 23rd, the city will now toe the line of President Xi Jinping's China, with lawmakers repudiating its Western liberal past. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Tonight, we bring you the story of Pradip Sharma, an encounter specialist turned cold-blooded criminal. The ex-cop, once notorious for killing terrorists and gangsters, has been sentenced to life in prison for staging a fake encounter. The man who was supposed to be a custodian for law and order, in fact, has blood on his hands. So who is this man? What is his story? How did he rise to positions of power and then ultimately landed into a prison? Let's start from the top. Sharma hails from a small village in the Indian state of Maharashtra. He comes from a humble background. His father, Rameshwar Sharma, worked as a school principal. Once Pradip Sharma graduated, he moved to a city with big dreams. He gave the MPSC or Maharashtra Public Service Commission exams to join the Mumbai police. He cleared the exam and got into the Maharashtra Police Academy. Now, let me tell you here, Sharma is from the infamous batch of 1983. The police officers from this batch are known for their crackdown on the Mumbai underworld. The underworld was run by the likes of Dawood Ibrahim, Chota Rajan, Amar Naik at the time. He joined the police force in 1983 as a sub-inspector in Mumbai and started climbing the ladder. He rose to fame in 1999 when he and his team killed a dreaded gangster, Vinod Matkar. Matkar was an aide of Chota Rajan. He was reportedly chosen to target Dawood Ibrahim in Pakistan, but before Matkar could carry out the task, he was gunned down by Pradip Sharma. And the same year, the cop allegedly shot another major gangster. His name was Sadiq Kalia and worked for the D Company. In the year 2003, Sharma was heading the Andheri Crime Intelligence Unit. That's when his team eliminated 3 Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorists. And so it continues. Sharma has served as police officer for some 25 years. And during this time, he says he has carried out 112 encounters. In fact, this earned him the moniker Mumbai's Dirty Harry. The man has a checkered history. Despite being a cop, he has been found to have links with gangsters and criminals. He has had multiple run-ins with the law. He has been dismissed and then reinstated. He has been jailed, tried, and then acquitted. But now the cop's story seems to be meeting a tragic end with a life sentence ahead. Let me tell you how he ended up meeting this fate. The year was 2006. Our encounter specialist had grown ambitious and bold. On Sharma's radar was a man named Ram Narayan Gupta. People knew him as Lakhan Bhaiya. Sharma was convinced that Gupta worked for Chota Rajan. There wasn't any clear proof for that, but Sharma had made the decision. He picked up Gupta and staged an encounter. Pradip Sharma thought he would get away with it, and in fact, he almost did. Gupta's brother took the case to the Bombay High Court. An investigation was opened by a special team, and guess what was found? That the policemen were paid by Gupta's rival to bump him off. In 2009, the High Court ordered to file an FIR. In 2010, Sharma was arrested. But no decision was made for the next 3 years. And finally, in 2013, the Sessions Court awarded life term to 21 men for the murder. Out of them, 13 were police personnel. However, the prime accused, Pradip Sharma, was acquitted by the court. Why is that? Due to a lack of evidence. But now, more than a decade later, the judgment has been changed. Sharma's acquittal has been reversed. The Bombay High Court has finally convicted Sharma of murder, along with several other charges. The judgment was over 800 pages long. The verdict says, and I'm quoting, all the circumstances led by the prosecution, right from the formation of the police court, wrongful confinement, criminal abduction and fake encounter, has been proved. The bench also said that the trial court had overlooked the overwhelming evidence available against Sharma and that the common chain of evidence undoubtedly proves his involvement in the case. The High Court also noted that even though Ram Narayan Gupta had 10 cases against him, this did not give Pradip Sharma the license to kill him. Now Pradip Sharma will be spending the rest of his life in prison. The World Happiness Report is out. The same one which ranks countries across the world based on their happiness level. It is released every year, and if it is to be believed, then it's always rainbows and sunshine in Finland. Because the country has topped the happiness list for the last 7 years. 7 years. Once again, there are no changes in the top 10 rankings. Finland is followed by Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and ironically, Israel. The index seems to be blind to the war going on in the country. Then what explains this? The people of Israel are protesting for a change in the government. They are also shouting on the top of their lungs, demanding a hostage release deal. They have been doing so for a while. They don't look very happy, but somehow the World Happiness Index could not see that. The US has fallen from 16th to the 23rd spot. But it still seems to be a generous ranking given the current state of affairs in the country. There were over 600 mass shootings in the US last year. That means there were 2 incidents every day. There are more guns than people in America. As of 2018, there were 390 million guns in circulation. The number would have dramatically increased since then. And did I mention the fentanyl epidemic? Last year, some 70,000 died due to fentanyl. Addicts and homeless people can be seen in every other streets in the US. But according to the index, Americans are still happier than over half of the world. Maybe that is the kind of optimism that we all need. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. And when it gives you an epidemic of rats, make it a tourist attraction. That is what Americans did last year. They even offered rat tours to tourists. Anything to keep a simple smile on the faces of the people. Because the judges of the World Happiness Index are watching, hopefully. Moving on, the Great Britain is at the 20th position, which is in recession, by the way, which is grappling with its worst cost of living crisis in a while. And just a few days ago was voted the second most miserable place in the world. The UK was second only to Uzbekistan, not even Palestine, which is dealing with a war, or Afghanistan, which is in the clutches of the Taliban, or some African country which is on the verge of starvation. I don't want to sound insensitive or stereotypical here, of course. I only want to question the parameters of these indices. Which survey should we believe in now? One that measures happiness, or the one that counts misery? From what I know, one cannot be both at the same time. If the UK is one of the most miserable countries, how is it the 20th happiest one? And you know what else does not add up? That Pakistan is ranked at 108, while India is at the 126th position. Hear me out. We are talking about Pakistan, a country riddled with terrorism and shrouded in poverty. About 40% of its population is now below the poverty line. That makes up for some 95 million Pakistanis. People don't have the money to buy food or everyday essentials. Its economy has been in free falls for many years now. Last year, according to reports, there were close to 800 terror attacks in Pakistan. How can such a country be happier? Which is India, of course, is prospering, has become the 5th largest economy of the world, offers far better living standards than Pakistan, to say the least. The happiness index took into account 6 variables. These were GDP per capita, social support, healthy life expectancy, freedom, generosity, corruption, and I don't see Pakistan being better off in any of these parameters. So the rankings are honestly beyond me. Every year this report comes out, people are fascinated and curious. It is reported by every mainstream media platform and publication. But does anyone ever question the methods? It's about time that we did. And the report has also found that Gen Z is the unhappiest generation, that young people are sadder than the older people. This has been the trend in many Western countries. The youngsters are said to be suffering similar to a midlife crisis. We are talking about ages 15 to 24 here. It is plaguing the US, the UK, other parts of Europe and Australia, this quarter-life crisis, if you may. Now, the report does not mention why the kids are depressed, but do we really need to spell it out? Just look at what's happening around us. Social media is more rampant than ever. US adolescents spend nearly 5 hours a day on social media on average. A third of them stay up until midnight on weeknights, stuck to their devices. Social media is playing a major part in driving down their self-esteem and robbing young people of their well-being. But it is also the lack of education and skills training. And then there are income inequalities among the youth. Housing crisis, cost of living crisis, fears of multiple wars, and above all, climate change, of course. Amid all this, should we even expect the youngsters to be happy? Mystery, intrigue, conspiracies, speculation, there is no dearth of it all. We have been telling you about the controversy surrounding the royal family, the multiple theories. More recently, someone from the royal family who has been dominating headlines. I'm talking about Kate Middleton, of course. And if you are someone who has been following the developments, you would also be scratching your head perhaps, thinking, what is even going on? In the latest, there is a fresh row. You perhaps know by now that Kate Middleton underwent surgery. Why are we talking about that? Because of an investigation that has been launched. That's right. Let me just tell you more about what's really going on here. A report by the Mirror said that at least one member of staff at the hospital where that surgery happened tried to access her medical records. Let me say that again. Tried to access her medical records. The Mirror quoted a source, and according to this source, senior hospital bosses had contacted Kensington Palace immediately after the incident was brought to their attention and assured the palace that there would be a full investigation. This is a private hospital in central London, where royals and celebrities go. The UK Privacy and Data Protection Watchdog has received a breach report. According to a spokesperson of the Information Commissioner's Office, they have received a breach report and are assessing the information provided. Now, FYI, it is a criminal offence for any staff in an NHS or private healthcare setting to access the medical records of a patient without the consent of the organization's data controller. And in the latest, the London Clinic's chief executive has said that all appropriate investigatory, regulatory and disciplinary steps will be taken when looking at alleged data breaches. The statement goes on to say that everyone at the London clinic is acutely aware of the individual, professional, ethical and legal duties with regards to patient confidentiality, and that they have systems in place to monitor management of the patient information. And in the case of any breach, all appropriate investigatory, regulatory and disciplinary steps will be taken. That there is no place at the hospital for those who intentionally breach the trust of any of the patients or colleagues. Meanwhile, Kensington Palace earlier said this is a matter for the London clinic. Now, what is known as per reports is that this was an unspecified abdominal procedure. And remember, a lot of conspiracy theories have been doing the rounds. Kate Middleton was away from the public eye. And then came the photo controversy. Remember that? The photo with her children was meant to douse speculation and send out an overall message that all is good, there is nothing wrong. The photo basically was aimed at marking Mother's Day celebrations in Britain, but it became the starting point of a fresh row. The move backfired, and how? After the photograph was put out, several social media users noticed and pointed out how the picture was edited. In fact, agencies like the Associated Press, Reuters, AFP withdrew the photo. And days after the photo controversy, while the question marks continued to hang in the air, Kate Middleton was reportedly seen at a farm shop. You see, this was supposed to be more than just a picture. It was Kate Middleton resurfacing on social media after a while. There was a lot of chatter earlier over her whereabouts, so it was supposed to basically set a tone of normalcy. After a lot of speculation over where she was, it was supposed to send out a message that everything is okay and end the speculation, but the exact opposite happened. It seems the royal rows are nowhere close to dying down. On that note, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas Tonight. This is me, Molly Gambhir, signing off. Thanks very much for watching.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the U.S.
From New York, we get you to the sandy shores of Durban, where I'll bring you all the glitz, glam, and happenings from the world of showbiz.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation